Hello my YouTube friends, I am ThePatrickinator, and this is another OU video. Now I'm battling Luke 101. He has a team of mostly electric type Pokemon. And watch me foil that guy's evil plot. I can tell that this guy's evil plot is to prevent me from winning with hacks. Watch this Pokemon magician on that guy. Let's begin. Now his first Pokemon Luke 101 sends out is Gardevoir, while the first Pokemon I send out is Ninjask. Since my Ninjask was fast, then Gardevoir, I tell my Ninjask to use Substitute. Now Gardevoir goes for a Thunder, but because of average accuracy, Ninjask dodges that move very easily. Then I go for a Sword Stance, increasing Ninja's attack by 2 stages. Then Gardevoir goes for a Volt Switch, ending Ninjask's Substitute. Then because of Volt Switch, Electros is called out. That's when Luke 101 sends out his Substrika. And I go for another Substitute, and I'm saying, what's going on here? And because of Volt Switch, Substrika is sent back to Luke 101, and that's when Luke 101 sends out his Electros. And Ninja's use Substitute again, saying, what's going on here? And as you saw, while my Ninjask is using Substitute, those electric type moves are ending that in a flash. And because of that, my Ninjask is saying, I had enough. And that's when I tell my Ninjask to use Baton Pass. Here comes Vaporeon. Despite the speed gain, it wasn't enough to outspeed Electros. Because of that, my Vaporeon loses 25% of his health due to Drain Punch. And for a few turns, I tell my Vaporeon to use Acid Armor. Now, I was going for an Acid Armor, but because of Discharge, my Vaporeon is paralyzed, so this is not going to be an automatic sweep for Gardevoir. And my Vaporeon goes down, and this is when I send out Espeon. I go for a Calm Mind, raising Espeon's special stats, and that's when Electros uses Flamethrower, and it was a critical hit. Weakness was the face. And I go for a Calm Mind one more time, and Electros goes for a Flamethrower one more time. And since my Espeon is low in hit points, that's when I tell my Espeon to use Baton Pass. And then I sent out Cloyster, and since it was slower than Electros, it goes for a Flamethrower. Then I tell my Cloyster to use Icicle Spear, and it hits 5 times, but it doesn't knock out Electros. And after Giga Drain, this is when my Cloyster knocks out Electros. 4 hits from Icicle Spear finally knocks out his Electros, and then he goes for a Substrika, and since my Cloyster was slower than Substrika, my Cloyster is knocked out. And Luke 101 calls back his Substrika and sends out his Thundurus Therian form. And unfortunately, Swampert is not faster than Thundurus, and because of Grass Knot, my Swampert is easily knocked out in one hit. And then, dun 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 dun, Gardevoir comes in to save the day and traces Bulbasaur. Because of Bulbasaur, Gardevoir will take no damage from electric-type moves. And I tell my Gardevoir to use Psychic, almost knocking it out. And this guy had no choice but to use non-electric attacks. And after 2 hits from Psychic, Thunderous Furion form is knocked out. Then he sends out his Galvantula, and because it's faster than Gardevoir, he accidentally tells his Galvantula to use Volt Switch, mistakenly thinking that I was going to use Ninjask. Then Galvantula uses Giga Strain, gaining some health from Gardevoir, and then finally Gardevoir uses Psychic, knocking out Galvantula. And his next Pokemon he will send out is Lantern. And since my Gardevoir is faster than Lantern, I tell my Gardevoir to use Psychic. And Lantern uses Hydro Pump, dealing a good amount of damage on Gardevoir. And the next turn, Gardevoir uses one more Psychic, knocking out Lantern. And then he uses a non-electric type, which is Gyarados. And since my Gardevoir is slower than Gyarados defeated my Gardevoir, and since my Gardevoir had Thunderbolt, he easily knocks out Gyarados in 1 hit. And his final Pokemon is Zebstrika, and he'll probably outspeed my Gardevoir while using Overheat. Because of the special attack drop, he's hoping for a critical hit, but nope, my Gardevoir still survives. Leftovers, my Gardevoir has 25% hit points, well, approximately. And because Zebstrika uses Overheat 2 times, my Gardevoir isn't knocked out, and then this is when I win the battle. Gardevoir finishes Zebstrika using Psychic, and when I won, this is when I say, wow! I didn't expect to sweep with Gardevoir. So since Gardevoir knocked out 5 out of 6 of Luke 101's Pokemon, I pretty much call this a Gardevoir semi-sweep. And because that guy lost to my Gardevoir, he calls me a fag. Like I said, unless I fight like a girl, don't mess with elegance. Yay! Gardevoir, I'm so proud of you. And yet, Gardevoir was called Sir Knight in Japan. And yes, my Gardevoir is a male. That's why I call Gardevoir my handsome prince. This guy had an evil plot. Well, Luke 101's plot was to hope that I don't win with Gardevoir, and he was trying to prevent me from winning with hacks, but it just wasn't enough. I'm glad you enjoyed the battle, and I will see you next time. Until then, I'm the ThePatrickinator. Goodbye! Before I leave, I want to say, don't underestimate my Gardevoir just because he's a male. Okay, goodbye for real this time.